I think it's an amazing thing what we can do today with modern medicine. And honestly, they took out 30% of an organ, and I'm fine. To be able to save a life for, a couple weeks of downtime is just the most incredible feeling. And I think that's one of the most powerful legacies that you can leave behind. Audrey's aunt, her name's Erica, and myself worked on a project at my last job that I was at. And the project started probably 2.5 years ago. And so over the span of these 2 years, working with Erica, I learned about her having a baby niece. And, after the couple months when she was born, them discovering that she had this condition called biliary atresia. And that was the moment where I was like, wow, if they're looking for donors, I don't know if I'll meet the criteria, but at least I can try. And so I went home that night and filled out the form and just kind of waited and hoped for the best. So then they called me and said, your initial application looks good. Let's bring you in for screening. So I had to go down to Milwaukee for a full day of all of these tests. I remember Shannon, my transplant coordinator, using the term favorable. She's like, your organ looks very favorable. I remember then a couple days later, Shannon calling me back, my transplant coordinator, and saying, hey, we don't know if you're going to be the match, but things aren't good. So we need to prep in case you are the match. So we want you to come down for a day of testing on Wednesday. And if everything looks good, can you have surgery on Thursday? And I was like, oh my gosh, let me call work. I gotta, file paperwork for FMLA. I was like, yes, though, we'll make it happen. Mark me down, put me on your schedule. I remember sitting there waiting with my mom, and then out of the corner of my eye, I see Shannon walking down the hallway, and she's got just the slightest smile on her face. And I'm like, here we go, this is it. And so she walks in and she opens the door and she's like, let's go get your bags, we're admitting you.
We really didn't even find out until 6 p.m. the day before surgery that we had a donor, and they told us even into the surgery something could go wrong and they would have to stop the surgery immediately. So it never really felt like it was our answer until we got her back from surgery and everything went through and everything was successful.
She's my little liver twin, and I'm just excited to watch her get to grow up. It's such a blessing that we live, geographically pretty close. So we'll still get to be a part of each other's lives. And I know that, she's not going to remember this experience. So it'll be cool to get to tell it to her and share it with her as she grows up. And I think we'll have a special relationship forever.
I'm really excited, when she gets a little bit older and gets to understand, how big of a deal this is, keep forming that relationship with Brenda and what she wants to do in her life, whether it's a career or school or whatever she wants to do. Based off of how this kind of impacted us and impacted her. So it'd be cool to see that too.
A lot of strangers have reached out to us, or not even strangers, but extended family or stranger or whoever. And they just say I have this gut feeling Audrey's gonna do something good in the world. And we definitely have that feeling too. We just feel she could take this and just do anything, really.
Mm-hmm.
This was how our paths were supposed to cross. So this project that I mentioned that Erica and I were on for 2 years, it was a terrible project. And there were so many times where I wanted to quit my job and be, and just give up on this project. But now I laugh about it thinking this is how it was supposed to happen. This is how our paths were supposed to cross. And this is how I got to know her and about her niece. And I don't know what would have happened if we wouldn't have, but it doesn't matter because this is how it's supposed to be.